Hello Magic fans and welcome back to an Alchemy gameplay video. I very rarely play anything apart from Standard or Brawl, but I don't actually think I've ever played just a pure Alchemy video before. Could play this deck in Historic or Explorer I think, but I'm doing it in Alchemy because Tarkir, Dragonstorm Alchemy released some very good new dragons, and I think this deck overall does highlight the good things about Alchemy, or at least the not so bad things about Alchemy, and then the bad things about Alchemy. So very quickly, I think Alchemy cards can broadly be split into three different subsections. One is cards that do things very similar to how they work in Paper Magic. For example, the Seek mechanic is, you could do Seek instead of, reveal cards from top of your library until you find whatever card you're looking for. Creature or land or whatever. Seek it's random. Then there's cards that you could do in Paper Magic, but it would just be too much effort to do. For example, there's a card called Assemble the Team, which looks at the top third of your library to find a card. You could do that in Paper, but counting out how many cards left in your library, the top third of that is just too much. And also cards that may be slightly harder to track, and we'll get one of those in a minute. And then there's just the pushed broken cards in Alchemy, which is I think a lot of people have a problem with Alchemy for. But this deck, I think, highlights all of those, or at least a few of those, the good, the bad, and maybe the ugly. So let's just quickly get into the deck. Now, the first card, which we're playing around really, is Dragon Typhoon. So I have it by itself. This is a callback to a magic card called Shark Typhoon from Ikoria, which is obviously also a reference to the movie Sharknado. Shark Typhoon, 6 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you create an XX Shark token with flying, where X is that spell's mana value. And you can cycle it for, I think, a blue, a 1, and an X to create a XX blue Shark token with flying. And in fact, that card, you more often cycled it than play the enchantment, because getting an XX flyer, as a spice box is really powerful. Dragon Typhoon is similar, but way better because it's an Alchemy. So it is also 6 mana. It is a dragon. It's a kindred enchantment dragon, which means it counts as a dragon spell. It doesn't count as a dragon creature spell, obviously, but if you have anything that interacts with dragons, dragon spells, it would interact with Dragon Typhoon. And it has, whenever you cast a dragon or non-creature spell, draft a card from Dragon Typhoon's spellbook and put it onto the battlefield. Now, the cards from the spellbook are very powerful, and in fact, some cards we've seen before. Not going to go through them all, but Thunderbolt Regent, Stormscale Scion. We've seen this in another deck. It's also from Tarkir. Now, we don't cast a Scion, so we don't even get, even if we cast other spells before getting it, we won't get a Storm, but it does buff our entire board, or buff all our dragons. Magmatic Hellkite can destroy an opponent non-basic land, and then the basic land they get is stunned. This is also from Tarkir. Boltwing Warder, never got this one. Neriv, also from Tarkir, never got this one. Called Caldera Pyramore. This is the winner, basically. It's a 3/3 flyer. It says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, we cast a lot of those, we put a +1/+1 count on it, and then this creature deals damage equal its power to target opponent. So if we get this down and cast an instant or sorcery, it goes up to a 4/4. It deals 4 to our opponent's face. Now, obviously, we want as many of these down because this can just go face and win. And finally, Thunder Main Dragon. We can look at top card of a library anytime, and we can cast creature spells of power 4 or greater from top of our library, and it gains haste. And finally, there is a token, because we can channel Dragon Typhoon, much like you could cycle Shark Typhoon for 4 mana, discard this card, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Now, the difference is with Shark Typhoon, it was a cycle, which means you draw a card as well, so that's slightly better this way. But this is absolutely bonkers. We get this down, we go off, we win. Now, the other new Alchemy cards, one of the other more powerful ones, is Stonehide Ancient. They all have omens. Its omen is Warning Tremor, 2 and a red, deals 2 to any target. The next dragon spell you cast 2 less to cast. Obviously, Dragon Typhoon being a dragon spell, it does reduce the cost of that. And then it's a 6 mana Temur, 6/6 flying vigilance, so a big body, and then when it enters, return all non-dragon creatures to the owner's hands. That can often just be kind of essentially a one-sided board wipe. They can rebuild, but it is often quite game breaking. Also, and this is also can get us back into the game pretty well if we're up against an aggro deck. If we can survive, we can get this down. And then have a beefy blocker. And this is one of the cards that you could just play it. It could be a paper magic card. The only reason it is, you very, very rarely, or I don't think ever, see effects in paper magic that reduce the cost of something over turns. Now, in paper, this would be the next dragon spell you cast this turn, costs 2 less to cast. We see that kind of thing all the time, but you don't see that kind of effect last multiple turns. I don't know why. I think it's just slightly more difficult to track, but you could play this in paper very, very easily. One of the other really powerful ones is Cunning Azure Scale. So, and it's Divine Dive. It's this Omen, which is one of blues an instant. Secretly choose land or non-land. Seek a card of the chosen kind. Again, you could do it in paper with just choose land or non-land. You know, reveal cards on top of your library until you reveal a card of a chosen type, put it in your hand. But the idea is this is a secret. And the actual Azure Scale itself is a 6 mana 5/5 flying flash, and when it enters, we secretly choose land on land, but we then see 2 cards of the chosen kind. Very, very powerful. It's essentially draw a card, but draw what you want. If you need a land, you get a land. If you don't need a land, you don't get a land. And obviously, the Divine Dive being very cheap synergizes really well with Dragon Typhoon. Then we have Pearl Lake Warden. Its Omen is Nesting Instinct for 2 and a green. Seek a land and put it onto the battlefield. So we get a land from a deck upon the battlefield. It does not enter tapped, which is very, very relevant. If we, we can potentially double spell by getting another untapped land. And then the creature itself is 4 mana 4/5, and it has a bit of a weird text box. As long as this card is the top card of your library, you may look at it any time you may cast it. So obviously in paper, you wouldn't be able to know it's on the top of the library without looking at it. It's a bit chicken and egg, this one, but obviously the game just knows it's on top of the library and it revealed it to you. And obviously it's a dragon. It has flyer. Now they're all the new dragons, but rounding out the new dragon type things, we have Dragonweave Tapestry. 4 mana rock, adds 1 mana of any colour, and when it enters, we conjure Dragonweave Tapestry spellbook into our library twice, then shuffle. And the spellbook are basically all the Stormbroods from Tarkir. So Purging Stormbrood, Twinmoor Stormbrood, Runescale Stormbrood, Disruptive Stormbrood, and Whirlwind Stormbrood, which are all pretty powerful by themselves. They have omens, not going to go through all of them, but Purging Stormbrood's good because it can give our creatures lifelink and hexproof and a big buff, and it also Twinmoor Stormbrood can gain its life, which is really good. Runescale Stormbrood, the omen can act as a counterspell. Disruptive Stormbrood, when it enters, we can destroy up to 1 artifact enchantment, so that's pretty good. And its omen destroys type of creature with power of 3 or less. And then Whirlwind Stormbrood, we can just buff our a creature by 3 counters, +1/+1 counters. And the creature side does allow us to play sorcery and dragon spells as I had a flash. And obviously it being a mana rock. And the other key thing is whenever we cast a dragon or omen spell, we draw a card. That's bonkers as well, because pretty much everything we're casting is dragon or omen spells. Rounding out the deck, we have 2 copies to Dispel and Exhale, a counterspell from Tarkir. As additional cost of this spell, we may behold a dragon. Behold basically means choose a dragon we control or reveal a dragon card from our hand. And we counter target spell unless it's control base 2, or if we have beheld a dragon, it's 4 instead. Then another new alchemy card, Illuminating Lash, for blue and a red. Illuminating Lash deals 3 damage to any target. That's good, especially for 2. And then we get a 1-time boom with when you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Again, in paper, you could just do to the end of turn, the next instant sorcery spell you cast, or non-creature spell, you draw a card. But again, this tracks it across turns, and they don't do that in paper. And then we have a Chorus sub-theme. Chorus are incredibly powerful cards. There is 1 in each colour, and we are playing the red and the blue version. The red one is Ribald Chanty. For those who don't know, Ribald basically means dirty. A dirty shanty, a dirty song, a bit rude, a bit of blue, if you're old and English. That's what Ribald means. It's not a very common word anymore, but it's commonly referred to in old sea sound shanties. So it's 1, its start intensity is 2, it deals damage equal to its intensity of target creature or planeswalker. So by default, it's shock, 1 mana, 2 damage to creature or planeswalker, well not shock and go face. But all chorus cards have that line at the bottom. All chorus cards you own intensify by 1. And because all chorus cards do something based on their intensity, this makes them better. So if we Ribald Chanted twice, the second one will deal 3 damage basically. But the other one is Hymn to the Ages. And this is 2 mana, and it is mythic rare, and it's for good reason. Star intensity 1, we draw cards equal to this spell's intensity. So if we Ribald Chanty and then Hymn to the Ages, we draw 2, and then 3, then 4. And again, it does increase intensity of all choruses by 1. So these are our card draw spells and additional removal spells. You know, this can get up to deal 5, 6, 7 damage, which is absolutely insane. Mana base, we do have a couple of Mistrized Villages to potentially cause our next spell to be uncounterable. We do have 1 Cavern of Souls because we're playing dragons. Cavern of Souls does say creature spell with chosen type, so it does not cause Dragon Typhoon to be uncounterable. 2 copies of Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon, which can tap for 1 mana of any colour to cast a dragon spell or omen spell. We also pay for tap it and sack it to search a library for a dragon card. And then, yeah, all the Verges, I think, in these colours, in Team of Colours, Hedge Maze and Willow Rush Verge. Because the only green card we have is Stonehide Ancient, otherwise it is just an Izzet deck. So this is a very, very powerful deck. It's great fun to play. It can go off, it can go wide. As I said, the Caldera Pyramore from Dragon Typhoon is often our finisher. We get it down and just cast more instant and sorceries, which one gets us more dragons with Typhoon, but then triggers the Pyramore to just go face repeatedly. It's absolutely bonkers. Can be a bit slow, but we can pull it around by getting out the Stonehide Ancient to bounce our opponent's board, and then potentially some of the dragons we get from the Tapestry help us gain life. Well, one of them does. I call it the Goose Dragon because it does look like a goose. Twin Moor Stormbrood gains 5 life when it enters. So very, very powerful. We can rip through our deck. We can remove pretty much anything. We can bounce our entire opponent's board. It is just insane. I really, really enjoy it, and I think it shows the power of alchemy. Hymn to the Ages in alchemy is just stupid. 2 mana to potentially draw 4 or 5 at instant speed is crazy. And while we obviously don't play a Stormbringer Talent, if you have ways to recur, get it from your graveyard and just cast it over and over again, it's just insane. So a really long deck tech, but basically every card in this deck, almost all cards in this deck, is brand new or brand new to the channel. So I wanted to take my time explaining it. I really hope you enjoy this one too. Please let me know what you think down in the comments, and let me know your thoughts on alchemy in general. It is very, very divisive, and I understand why, but in the meantime, I had a blast playing this deck. I hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. We go first with a pretty good hand. That's Thundering Falls. Yeah, I'm fine with more land for now. Let's go and dig in. Well, I think let's just Hymn to the Ages now. While they're tapped out, and in blue, obviously, we don't know if there's going to be a counter spell. Especially blue-white. And then we can just nest in Instinct. Their own Hymn to the Ages. It's a very powerful card. I don't think Ribald Chant is really going to probably get much use in this deck, in this matchup. Or you can just Divine in Dive a couple of times. Or maybe just once, and then maybe we want to flash in and adds a Scout after that, since we have a lot of lands. There is a chance we hit a counterspell. We do not hit a counter spell. Well, they are digging a lot. We can just take that out. Well, let's make use of our mana. Actually, no, let's not. Ooh, Dragon Typhoon. Please don't have Spell Pierce. Or a bounce spell. Either one would suck. It's a cast trigger as well, so it doesn't matter if we if it gets countered. We need to find a big boy that bounces everything. Let's go Regent. And let's just find a land. And then we can hold up our Divine Dive. We do have a lot of things that can kill Lamb. But yeah, we basically need 6-drop that bounces all non-dragons. It's where shuffling in cards with the tapestry can be a bit of a hit and miss. I am going to block. We know that they have more. You know, you don't have 6 cards in hand and 5 mana available and not have more instants and sorcerers. And attack with your Lamb. They might also have another Lamb as well. Let's get a Thundermane Dragon. Okay, so that's creature spells from the top of our library. Well, I imagine they can protect it. Oh, they can't. Get a Scion. Seek a land. And that is just lethal. Just with the Caldera Pyramore. We go first. Yeah, a good hand. Warning Tremor reduces the cost of Dragon Typhoon, so that's pretty powerful. We'll keep a Cunning Azure Scale. I think we can just hymn to the ages. Ooh. We may have to just take that out with Stonehide Ancient. So we don't want it destroying our Dragon Typhoon. Although it suggests they probably have more than one.
I will fight for those who cannot.
Ajani is going to be an issue. But let's get down at Dragon Typhoon. But then we can Pole Lake Warden. And then, well, Nesting Instinct and Divine. Okay.
Let me show you how to fight.
Keep a tapestry. Well, I think we play out the Warden to pressure Ajani. But I can see that coming a mile away. There's another Nettle Guard.
Steel yourself for battle.
They might as well sack it to take out a map token. Means we don't get the cost reduction either. Another Dragon Typhoon. Well, we kind of need a rival Chanty. Well, that is only target. Do you have another requisition raid? Shelter by Ghosts?
Steel yourself for battle.
Well, I think we have to get down with Dragon Typhoon and hopefully it resolves. Well, I mean, hopefully it survives. And then I think we actually flash in an Azure Scale. Wow, okay.
yourself and you shall win.
Well, let's flash in an Azure Scale. That's been really annoying. And we just have to hope
Let me show you how to fight.
that last card isn't removal. Well, there's a Ribald Shanty.
Another resorting to violence.
There is a Jarny gone.
I helped all I could.
I think we cast this from the top of our library and draw. There's a third Dragon Typhoon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just get a land card and draw. And let's try and buff our Dragon Scale, Azure Scale. That, as always, is... Well, we can take out their authority. Well, let's do this again. And then we can take out the investigator. Pyre. And we can take out the scavenger. And we can hold up Chilling Screech if we need it. See what are the chances they draw a cheap spell. Let's get a Scion. And we can probably just get lethal from the Pyre. Yeah, I wonder what that card was. I didn't play it. Maybe they were holding a land to hope. Maybe we thought they had something. We go first with a couple of tap plans. But we do have some slowish removal. And obviously Hymn to Ages is ridiculously powerful. I don't really matter which one we play first. This does let us Hymn to Ages. Hymn to the Ages, sorry. More tap lands. More tap lands. That's annoying because we wanted to take out the Caryatid. Yeah, it doesn't really matter again. Do like Ancients. We can Divine in Dive. And we know we hit the... Oh, yeah, of course it's just random, isn't it? We don't need an untapped land. But we'll keep more land. So next turn we can get them a Dragon Typhoon because it counts as a dragon spell. So the Omen side of Stonehide Ancient does reduce the cost of it. Warning Tremors, I think it's called. That's slightly annoying. We need to find some non-dragons. Non-land, I mean. They gain some life. Well, let us... Yeah, let's just cast the Warden. And get a Caldera Pyramore. And let's take out a Caryatid. And get another dragon. Let's get a Scion. Next turn, depending on what we draw, we may just sack the Maelstrom. I don't quite get why they're playing in Alchemy. Attack with our Warden. We've not seen an alchemy card yet. Oh, I suppose Draconic Fealty is an alchemy card. Well, that's kind of annoying. Wow. All removal. We will not block. Oh, another Dragon Typhoon. Well, they're down to 4. If we're in need to jump something, we can, but doesn't really matter. Because they can't block enough. Yeah, it's better than an odd deck they were playing, seeing as the only alchemy card they were playing was Draconic Fealty. But they were playing a older card in Elysian Caryatid. So, just strange. King of Ducks. Well, we don't have any red mana. But we don't need any red mana in our current hand. Well, let's just hint to ages at the end of their turn. Haha! And let's do it again. Well, there is red mana. Let's Avail. And then seek it and put it onto the battlefield. I will keep another dragon. Brawl is to any target, so that's good.
I hope you've got bottled lightning share.
Well, let's kill Rao.
Not used to pots. Great, another delay.
And next turn we can cast a reasonably cheap Stonehide Ancient. Which might just die. And yeah, let's play out another Surveil land. I think we stop with lands now. Wow, okay. That's Tapestry. And then let's get down to Surveil land. That's going to be tough to deal with. We do have counter spells in our deck. Attached to dragons. Non-land. Well, there is another Stonehide Ancient. I think we flash in the Azure Scale. Well, we can kill the Enduring Friendship and draw, and then still flash in the Azure Scale. And then now we've drawn a counterspell for their Mycelic Ballad. And there's the Typhoon. We'll seek 2 non-lands. Well, let's just shanty the friendship. And we have 4 mana left. Well, we can give it hexproof. The ballad is what, 4 mana? What the hell does Weave the Nightmare do? -5, -5, and how much is it? 3. We don't have any white mana left. Fine. We're saving our Despair and Exile for Mycelic Ballad. Which is also a sorcery, just checking, yeah. And that's probably lethal. Yeah, and that's just lethal from the 2 Pyamors. It is lethal. Yeah, I mean, it was still lethal. Them gaining 9, we're about to do like 10 to them without even attacking. Our opponent goes first. We've got a pretty good hand. We can surveil turn 1. I'll keep that because we can just seek a land card with it if we need to. But maybe we'll just hold up him to the ages. Well, let's just kill their Hall Creeper. And surveil. Yeah, more land. Happy with that. They're going to gain a lot of life from their authority because we do get a lot of creatures onto the board. Next Dragon Weave. And next turn we can Dragon Typhoon. Hopefully they tap out. Giant spells you have convoke. No stick. That's good. And we will draw from the tapestry because it's a kindred card, so it does count as a dragon. Well, that's not very nice. I will keep that. They're going to be able to, their overlord's going to become unimpeded. So I think we just hold up the actual Azure scale because it has flash. So there is we do have a card that can destroy enchantments. But we have to find it. We aren't finding it. We'll put back 2 lands and... well, let's just put back 3 lands. But they just copy Banishing Light. Wow. No. We go first with a pretty good hand. Stonehide Ancient's so powerful because it's basically a one-sided ball wipe for us. And we can even use the Warning Tremor. And then with a second one, obviously reduces the cost of it. So we can counter something, or we can Hymn to the Ages. Sure, let's... don't need to behold a dragon. And let's hold up various things. I'd love to rival Shanty something and then Hymn to the Ages. But yeah, I think we do just Hymn to the Ages. And we can just hold up Cunning Azure Scale. Well, the Divining Dive. Let's seek a non-land. Let's take out the Fear. Take out the Fear. Let's get down to the Tapestry. We are shields down a bit, but if we draw land, we can Stonehide Ancient. Well, let's just find a land. Play out another land. So what does this do? Whenever one or more enchantment creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, exile a random creature card from that player's library. Don't like that. Fine. We will destroy the Fear. Draw another card. What do they do? Well, let's bounce their board. Draw a card. And also we can do that again next turn. And we can counter one of them as well. That's the one that is bigger. We have what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can nest an Instinct. Because it comes into play untapped. And then flash in the Azure Scale. And even if I have a Shell by Ghost, it's not the end of the world. We will seek a couple of non-lands. Okay. And we can just hold up a couple of ribald shanties. Oh, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hoorah, up she rises, hoorah, up she rises, hoorah, up she rises, early in the morning. Methinks you're dead. Let's just see what we hit. Dragon Typhoon. But yeah, they are still dead. Never saw that from Dustmorn.